Hi dear doctors, welcome to the beautiful class of pediatrics kids Discovery. I am Dr. Parv Luthra and I am your pediatric faculty. So let's quickly start our discussion. We are discussing the chapter of inborn errors of metabolism, and in this chapter we are discussing about familial hyperlipidemia. So familial hyperlipidemia, if you break the words you can understand. Familial means coming from the birth or coming from generations. Hyper increase, lipidemia is the content of lipid. So familial hyperlipidemia. So see, actually if you see now, there are 4-5 things only to discuss in all these things, but I've seen people struggling a lot when it comes to this table, and they'll simply message me, sir, should we skip this part? So my dear friends, there's nothing to skip in this, okay? And these are actually important things which you should know, which you should become aware about. So familial dyslipidemia is actually very, very important, and don't skip this. I'll make it easy for you, don't worry, okay? So first of all, please understand that type 1 is going to have exogenous hyperlipidemia. So whatever you are going to take from outside, that is going to cause the hyperlipidemia. All right. So for example, if I just say triglycerides, okay, so triglycerides are something which are formed inside our body. They are present inside our body. So they are not exogenous, they are endogenous. Okay. So if I leave triglyceride, what is going to come from outside? The coming from outside is going to be chylomicrons. Okay. So there will be increased chylomicrons which are going to come. Okay. There will be increased chylomicrons which are going to come from outside, exogenous hyperlipidemia. And my dear friends, please understand, one is very much similar, it looks like L. So the enzyme deficiency is lipoprotein lipase, and if you combine two ones, this becomes 2. So this is ApoC2 deficiency, because lipoprotein lipase, see what happens, I'll give you a little hint of it. So what happens is lipoprotein, understand, lipoprotein lipase is the enzyme which is required to enter, lipoprotein lipase is responsible for entry of the lipids into cell, cell, okay, and it is stimulated by ApoC2. So for example, if you don't have a functional lipoprotein lipase, or if the ApoC2 is not functioning, the lipids will not enter into the cell and they will remain in blood. And because they are remaining in blood, my dear friends, please understand that they are remaining in blood, right? So if they are remaining in blood, please understand, my dear friends, this causes what? Yes, tell me, this causes what? This causes hyperlipidemia. Okay, so what is going to happen? The serum, of course, is going to be milky. Why milky? Because of course there is a lot of chylomicrons which are there. Okay, chylomicrons are going to be there. And one more important thing is pancreatitis. So if you know my name, PARV, I always like to come on the first position. So P for pancreatitis, coming on to first one. So because it is exogenous hyperlipidemia, you have to, of course, you have to decrease the low fat, decrease the fatty acid in your diet. Now how to remember that one is exogenous? So remember, anyone who is coming with rank 1 is going to be an extraordinary child. So extra exogenous, like that. Okay. Second is divided into two parts, familial hypercholesterolemia, and second is going to be hyperlipoproteinemia. So remember, very, very important thing, you have got A, B, C, D, like that. Okay. So A, B, C, D, A and C are coming together. So cholesterol is going to come together with A, and of course B is not having C with it, so B is going to have hyperlipoproteinemia. Or I think people are getting confused in this, so very simple way to remember is, remember B is having both increase. What? Both lipids are also increased and proteins are also increased. That's why combined hyperlipoproteinemia. Whereas if you see for cholesterol, of course cholesterol is alone, so A for alone increase, that means only the cholesterol is increased, hypercholesterolemia. Okay, now why it is happening, please understand. In 2A, cholesterol is increased because the LDL receptors are not functioning properly. So as I have told you that lipoprotein lipase is responsible for entry of the lipids into the cell. But how they are going to enter? Suppose this is the cell, so they must be having some receptors, LDL receptors, which will allow the LDL to go inside. But in 2, what is happening? LDL receptors are going to be mutated. How to remember? Can you see LDL, 2 L's coming? So it is going to be type 2. It is going to be which type? It is going to be type 2. Whereas in 2B, what is going to happen? There is increased production of triglycerides, and acetyl-CoA is also produced more, and B100 is also going to get produced more. So please understand, very simple, acetyl-CoA is nothing but a fatty acid only. So they are being produced more. Okay, so remember that, please understand, I am teaching you on a tab. Okay, so P and L, Parv Luthra sir is teaching you on tab. So there will be overproduction of acetyl, there will be production of triglyceride, and B for B100, of course that's going to be there. Okay, so what is to be seen in both of them? I have told you LDL coming in 2, so whenever you will write 2, you should know LDL. Can you see LDL is increased? LDL is increased. But one very important thing is, remember T for 2 and T for tendinous. T for 2 and T for tendinous. So there is tendinous xanthoma that's going to occur in type 2A. Tendinous xanthoma. Okay, that's going to, fatty acid deposition that's going to happen in the tendons. Tendinous xanthoma that's going to be there. And of course, my dear friends, LDL is a bad cholesterol responsible for causing atherosclerosis and some cardiovascular diseases also. So how to help them? You have to give niacin, you have to give statins, okay, and of course cholestyramine. So statins, niacin, these are the drugs which are given. Okay, statins, you know, like rosuvastatin, atorvastatin, they are responsible for decreasing the production. Cholesterol synthesis is decreased, right? So statins you have to give for that reasons. Okay, coming on to familial Dysbetalipoproteinemia. Okay, Dysbetalipoproteinemia, this is the third one. So actually beta lipoproteinemia is going to be there in third. So when there were 2 words, lipo and protein, so that was type 2. But here if you see, there are beta lipoproteinemia, so there are 3 words, so that's why this is type 3. Okay, and if I just write 3, THREE, so E2, so remember what is going to be there? ApoE2 is abnormal. Okay, and what is happening in 3? So remember VLDL is going to increase. Actually 3, you have to remember the most important thing. Okay, I'll write once again 3, THREE. What is R? R for remnant disease. R for what, beta? R for remnant disease. So all the remnants are going to be increased. So beta lipoproteinemia, please remember there is a plantar xanthoma that's going to be there. Okay, planar or plantar xanthoma that's going to be there. So you have to remember that is something which is related to 3. Okay, so plantar xanthoma, that's associated with 3. And of course, what is going to be the treatment? Again, the niacin and gemfibrozil is something that is given. Coming on to 4. So 4 is endogenous. 4 is endogenous. Now see, understand, exo has got 3 words. So this can't be the thing. Endo has got 4 words. So of course it is endogenous. 4 Okay, so I have told you endogenous. So what is going to happen? The VLDL is going to increase. So VLDL, 4 words are going to be there. So VLDL is going to increase. Whereas fifth, if you see, so fifth is going to have familial hypertriglyceridemia. So can you see how much words are there? Familial hypertriglyceridemia. 5 words are going to be there, and because the triacylglycerol is more, of course VLDL and chylomicrons, both of them are going to increase. But remember, 5 is going to be called as penta. So P for penta, P for pancreatitis. Okay, pancreatitis, actually it's very similar to type 1. Okay, so pancreatitis, you can remember, that's seen in the penta. Okay, so this was actually a small video but very important table, and this has nothing to do with the the understanding the subject, understanding the options, more of cramming based, and I have made sure that all the tricks are given to you so that you can remember. All right, so thank you so much for joining. God bless you guys. I will definitely see you in the next video.